Hi, welcome to the Bowie Business Journal. I'm your host, Pauline Markward, with the Greater Bowie Chamber of Commerce. I'm here with Annie Chelliah of Children Can Come Closer. Welcome, Annie. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So I understand that Children Can Come Closer is a 501. Tell me a little bit about that today.
Yeah, I started that in 1993, myself and my daughter, who was at that time, I think 6 or 7. We were at an Indian program, and she told me, "Mom, why don't you start an organization?" So I said, "Okay, and what will be the name of it?" She came up with the name, Children Can Come Closer. So we started this in 1993. At that time, children were young and they were going to school. My husband was traveling. He was most of the time in Egypt and Cyprus and other places. So I had a lot of time, and we collected some Indian children who were in Bowie and other places whom we knew. And then we met every third Friday of the month with the potluck. And everybody brought something, and we all had a fun time. Now, those children from 1993, they are bringing their children to this group, and that's how we started it.
And this group is open to all children?
It is open to all children, yes. At that time, I didn't know many people in Bowie, so only the Indian community I knew. Now I know, I think, most everybody in Bowie.
So what is a typical day like for you with Children Can Come Closer?
Children Can Come Closer, we don't have a typical day as such, because they all go to school, and we meet once a month, and then we have usually programs once or twice a year. We had programs mainly at the BCPA, Bowie Center for the Performing Arts, and there we take children. This group is for 5 through high schoolers, not little babies. But since I have a personal other business of a daycare, so I bring those children also on stage.
Okay, so what type of program is it?
It's cultural program, music, dance, instruments, and maybe sometimes drama, because the main thing is that the children must get out of their stage fright. And once they are there, that's it. They can come up, and this thing leads to education more, because if they are into the arts, I'm a person who believes in the arts. They have STEM, but I would like to see that as STEAM in the school. So the arts have to be incorporated, yes.
Okay, so the music portion, what does that consist of?
Music is international music. If a child comes from India, he may be singing, Indian songs. If a child comes from Japan, they can sing their national songs or any other song.
Oh, so you're incorporating their culture into, so it depends on what nationalities that year that children are with you is what it,
So they are learning international culture, they are making international friends. So, but sometimes it's we see only the Indians around there, but they are learning from India has 26, or they may be forming a state now as we are speaking. So, so that many cultures are there within India. So they are learning from each other. We can say India is one country, but with, different cultures inside there.
Kind of like the U.S. We have many states.
Yes.
So you have a food section too. You mentioned potluck, but the children learn to cook?
Once or twice we had, I can show you something we had in 95. I had a lot of time. At that time, I got Bowie Blade. I think it was Fran was their food section lady. So I had a lot of time. So I called them, and they came home, and this was their focus.
Well, tell me about what's on here. What
oh my goodness. We have so many things in here. We have the samosas, fish, rice, dal, lentil. Most of it is the South Indian dish, because I come from the state of Kerala in southwestern tip of India. And my husband, he came from Tamil Nadu, which is a sister state, and they have the sister language. We have 14 major languages in India. So, and we met in the north in New Delhi. So this is a mix of all the food there.
Okay. Nice. So now, through the years, it's multicultural. How do you incorporate and get children to expand their taste buds and their palates and try new foods? Or is it just because they're all kids and they have fun?
No, some of them they don't like. Today, in fact, I can, in my daycare, they love my Indian food. So when I'm going up the steps, they say, Miss Annie, bring idli. It's a thing which is made of rice and lentil, a special lentil, and they love it. And I have grown-up children who are 20, 22, because I'm in the business for the last 23 years. So 22-year-olds, they can just sit and just finish one full plate of that. So they love the Indian food. If you had to start something with children, we had to start when they are small, like little spice,
And the children can come closer. What is your favorite event that you plan each month? Always your go-to that you seem to enjoy?
Sometimes lately now we are not meeting because these children are a little grown up and they have their own things from school and sports, this, that, and the other, and we are not meeting every last Friday third Friday of the month, but whenever we can, we are meeting, and then the parents and children, they exchange ideas and they learn from each other. Yeah, good. And we are planning a program in September, a cultural program in September. Yes.
Okay, so I'm assuming we can email you and get the information.
Sure, I will let you know.
We'll put Annie's email up at the bottom, or you can always contact the chamber and get the information from us too. Yeah. So what brought you to Maryland? So
we came from Egypt, and this thing is here, the hieroglyphic, my name is here in the cartouche, that is called the cartouche. We were in Cairo, and my son was going to an American school which was called Cairo American College.
And how old was he then?
He was 9.5, nearing 10. So they found him to be with a little extra abilities and in studies and other things. So they gave him an acceleration there in Cairo American College and told us that he can go further. But we said no. So we had to meet with the psychologists, psychiatrists, doctors, teachers and everything. But when my husband came to America with his papers from the school, they gave him the admission in Valley View Elementary School, just like that. And then he came back to Egypt and he said that he got the admission, so now we have to get the visa. So he went to the American embassy, they just gave him the visa at 10 years old, a student visa.
Oh, wow.
At 10 years old, and we think that he's the first one to get a student visa at age 10.
And this is the son I've met?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the only son I have.
Oh, sorry.
And the daughter. So I had to leave. We had to leave. I had to leave my husband there in Egypt. They said we are going to keep him as ransom here, and I had to come with the little ones from there to America, to Maryland, because my husband's sister was here at that time. She was a nurse here in Later Community Hospital.
Okay.
So that is how we ended up in Maryland, not in any other state. Okay. So we were there with her, and my husband used to come twice a year. And children were missing him, I was missing him. But if somebody asked me to go back to that now, I cannot do that. But sadly, I lost him in March.
Yeah, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah. So that is how we came to Maryland, and we stayed here. We didn't go, though we lost our sister, my sister-in-law, in '92. We lost her, and
yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yep.
Now, you have another business too. When did you? What is it? Tell us the name of that and when you launched it.
That is because my husband was, though he came slowly near to New York and then to Maryland, he was working for the Council of Churches in New York, and then though he was here, he was traveling a lot outside to Cyprus and to the Middle East. And
did you get to go on any of these trips?
Yes.
Oh,
we
good.
went to Cyprus.
What was your favorite?
My favorite was Holland, where we lived. Yes, and then Egypt, and then Cyprus.
So wait, you actually lived in Holland?
We lived in Holland for 5 years. Yes,
Oh,
our daughter was born there.
Yes. Where else have you lived? And then we can get back to the business, but I'd love to hear where you lived.
Yeah, that is the places we really lived, yes. And then my husband has traveled to almost all the Middle Eastern countries. He was working with the Middle East Council of Churches. He wasn't a clergy, but he was more a churchman than anything else. Yeah.
Okay, so you came here, let's get back to launching your business.
Yeah, in '87, and then I had a lot of time, and then I told one of my neighbors who was with me when we were doing this cooking thing. I said, she was an Indian, and I said, come, let's go and do something. I want to, use my time, worthwhile. So I went with her to the community college, and we said we want to learn computer. So the fellow in the office said, you have to go and learn English first. I said English was my major in, when I was doing my bachelor degree, and I'm not going to study English to do, computer. So we were walking around there, and I saw some child development classes. So my husband was in Cyprus at that time, and I am the second child of first girl of 8 children.
Oh, wow.
I have brought up most of them under me. So I said, maybe this is my call. So I called him, and my children, Saturday, Sundays, they were alone at home. They were of age where they could be alone, and I went to do this 90-hour class. And we had a basement just sitting there, not being used.
Yeah.
So that is how I started my bread and butter business, which is called V Care, V as in Victor, C-A-R-E.
And so V does stand for Victor, or what does the V stand for?
We could not find any other name with the V-W-E. It was all taken. So my husband said, okay, write V Care.
Oh, so okay. It's funny how people end up with names for their businesses.
Yes, because when we had to
know.
take the IRS, this thing, So we didn't find any. W-E was taken, and everything else. W-E-E was also taken. So, I didn't want it to be Annie's Daycare, so no. So my husband came up with that name.
What range children? Age
0 to 12 I can take. 0 to 12. But usually it is from 0 to when they go to school. But some have stayed till 4 and a half. Because of the month they were born, they couldn't get into the school.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your favorite age to deal with? And not to sink any of the babies that are in, but is it the little ones, or is it more the teenage when they're getting ready to go out
teenagers
on their own?
are difficult. It is, with the little ones we have a set rule to go, what to do, when to do. So their nap time is nap time. From 1 to 3 is their nap time.
They listen.
So I put the curtain and do the lights off, music. Mozart is putting them to sleep for the last 23 years. Yeah, this is my 23rd year in that. Yes. So this is to, as I said, the 5 through high schoolers, and then we want the children to get into music and the arts. That is, let me put it as arts, and so we have twice a year program at BCPA. If you can get the stage.
Here, is this your program cover? Do you want to
yes,
show that?
You
put
can,
that up in front of the.
Yeah, that is one of the programs. His name is Rabindranath Tagore. And that's the poet. And this is the other program we did in 2016, Mother Teresa's work in dance form.
That's when I first started at the chamber. I remember that pamphlet.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that is that. These were the 2 major programs we did, and this is our, the blue border is our border now.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's to teach children the civic duties. We got into the Adopt a Road program, and Hillmead Road of 450 is our road. If you see on both sides, you can see children can come closer name. And then in 2017, we started the community garden. And I just couldn't get a place in Bowie, so I took through the parks and planning a plot we bought in College Park on Cherry Hill Road, and there we grow things, and what is grown there is given to the food pantry.
Oh, beautiful.
Bowie food pantry. Bowie food pantry. So last year we could give a lot of tomatoes. That is what grew a lot last year. So this year we are trying our best, fighting the weather and the weeds and the weather.
Yes, Maryland, we have that rainy spring,
yes,
and then all of a sudden there's no rain, and it's 90 degrees.
Then this group takes part at the farmers market. There is a booth called
it's
Free
beautiful.
Make and Take. There, children and adults, anybody can come, and it's free. There is no money involved, nothing. I don't sell anything there. They may come and make the cards. This is one of the cards I framed so that I can show it here. So anybody wanting to do that, they can come and free. It is.
So they come into the booth, they make it.
Yeah, they make and take. We help them. And high schoolers, if they want to get a community or service hours, they can come to the booth and help us.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Yes.
We have a regular
They're always
girl
looking for service hours.
coming now. So that is another activity. Then we take part at the Bowie Fest in June, and Bowie International Festival with food.
When you say the Bowie Festival with food, the international festival, you have a booth and you cook there?
Usually we bring in cooked food, cooked in, the rules and regulations in Maryland. You have to have, this, that, and the other. You have to get a one-day license for selling the food there.
Right.
Yeah, so all that we do. And last year we didn't participate, but this year we are planning to.
Now, when you do that, is it you raise donated money and then it goes to?
Yeah, to the group.
To the group.
To the
okay.
group, yes.
What travels well for that food-wise?
Say
You
it
can
again.
tell what sparks me is it's always about food. It motivates me. So-
Yeah, people have to try. I say that you try it. If you don't like it, spit it out in the trash can.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there are a lot of different foods. From Indian food means every area has, because if there are 5 people and if I give 1 potato to each, they will all make it in 5 different ways.
Very true.
So
Because your spice box is different. I did learn that everybody's spice boxes are a little bit different.
Yeah, we can make it without spice, with spice, go high, as much as you want, you can put in there.
Yes.
Yeah, and we are taking part we took part already year before last in the back to school bash by the city of Bowie. I think this year it is on August 8th.
Okay.
We are planning to participate there.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
And when you participate there, what is your presence at the? Because I don't know how many people in Bowie are aware of the Back to School Bash. Sometimes we get it on the city news, the Bowie Blade, but
Yeah, I think children should go there. I don't know. I can be a publisher, publishing that also here. Yeah, it's going to be a good program there. Yes, they have all sorts of things there. Yeah. And they are giving out, I think, school bags there.
yes.
Yeah. So those are some of the things we do, and children learn civic duties, because instead of sitting with that computer and the telephone, the children should get out and meet other people and get to know others. Because I want to spread some Indian food in Bowie, which hasn't happened yet. Slow and steady we will go. But you have to get all sorts of, licensing,
Right.
lawyers, and this and that, which I don't want.
Okay. Well, I know we discussed this briefly before we started filming, but when I lived in Pennsylvania, they would do, I think it was at the middle school, but there were 2 holidays a year that were celebrated, one spring and fall. And you said it, but I was saying colors, something about
One is the Festival of Colors. You throw colors on people.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then there was a program and there was a dance, and the local children put on a presentation for us. But also, the food vendors were inside, and I'm not sure if they cooked or they brought it in, but the food was fantastic. And it was a nice way to get local people understanding the
Yes.
culture. Because what I learned was, one of my girlfriends, she's like, oh, we don't have curry spice. And I'm like, yeah, but that curry, no, everybody has their own. That's only in America they have curry powder or something.
I think, when in around or among Indians, when we say curry, when I say curry, for me, it is something with gravy.
Right, curry means gravy,
Yes,
right? It's not a
gravy
powder.
Stuff. It is not. Curry powder is curry powder, with the different spices. You make your own, or you go and buy your own. Yeah, people should visit Indian, if you want to spend money and eat in the restaurants, go visit the restaurants.
Yes.
Or when people ask me where do I go to eat some Indian food, good food, I say come to my kitchen.
Yes. So I'm going to throw the, and I would help you with this, and it's recorded, so you know that. A spring festival next year. That might be fun.
Yeah.
With maybe your kids, and
Yes,
then to really have
you can get a lot of kids, and we are slowly spreading. We were quietly doing things, and also I must say that this group here, we help a group back home, not in my state and not in my husband's state, but a state between my husband's state and another state. We are helping the children of AIDS patients. There are, I think, 200 children there. Their education and other things are taken care of through 4Cs.
Okay.
So we help them monetarily there.
Yeah, that's a beautiful
It's called
cause.
Artswa. I don't know if anybody wants to, go and see what they are doing. They can Google Artswa Trust.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what was it like growing up in India? You said you were the oldest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Second one, but the first girl.
First girl. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of responsibilities. As I said, in India, different regions, the responsibilities of, girls are looked upon as the helper to the family, If there are younger children, I can tell you the 8th one, I took care of, though my parents had him, but so that indirectly helped me with my business now here, how to take care of a child and what are their needs and psychological as well as physical, and everything I learned through my mom. So growing up there, it was very strict family. I was born and brought up a Catholic, married to an Anglican. So born and brought up a Catholic means 2.5 hours of prayer. We had to say the rosary every day. Before dad comes, we had to finish the prayer. So when I got to college, I had to resist. I said, I have a lot of homework to do. I cannot pray for 2.5 hours. And we had to be on our knees for that 2.5 hours. My father will, my mother will, or father will, if he is there when we are praying, he will sit at the back. If we bend down, he will give us one. It was that strict bringing up. I think which helped us a lot. Which helped me a lot, I can say, with his strictness. And
I don't want to ask what year, because that puts our age out, and being
No
women,
problem.
we don't want to necessarily put what year we were growing up in. But if you'd like to offer that this is circa, 1950 or 60 or 70.
yeah, 57. I don't mind saying my age. I just turned 67.
Oh, happy birthday.
On 12th of July, yes. And my celebration was almost for 4 days. First with my son and family, then second with my daycare child, third again with where, I don't remember now, and the fourth one was, we went for another boys, so everybody sang for me.
Yes.
They kept me happy.
But as it should be, we should celebrate life.
Yes.
And so 4 days, that's nothing.
Yeah.
I hear some people say, I have a birthday month. So, not me, I don't have a birthday month.
Yeah.
I'm excited for your next production to come through and to be able to see the kids.
Yeah. We can do that.
And you're right, when you say get over stage fright, that's huge, because oftentimes we're always on stage. Every time we walk into a room, people are judging us. But the nice thing about being on stage is when you look out and there's lights, you can't see the audience. No. There's really...
That's what my husband used to say. He said, you don't see anybody there. Just think that there is nobody there. You're just talking.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I was a president of the college, ICAF, All India Catholic Federation or something like that. And the first time they put me on stage, I had a one rupee note in my hand. By the time the program was finished, that note was in so many pieces. I couldn't say a sentence in English at that time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because
that surprised me when they said you had to learn English.
Yeah,
I was thinking, well, wait, your English is so good.
But we never had to use it. We were using our mother tongue at that time. And by the time we got to Delhi, and I was learning Hindi, which is considered to be the Indian language. But even that I did not have to use it in daily life. So when I came to Delhi, I had to use it because Delhi is north, right? So they speak mostly Hindi, so I had to use that. And when our son was born, myself and my husband decided we won't talk in Hindi or anything, we'll stick with English.
Oh.
Yeah. So,
I couldn't imagine that.
now when I talk at home, I have all 4 or 5 languages there.
Mm-hmm. So if you talk to your family and friends from back home, do they think you have an accent?
No.
Okay, so when
my family, no.
Okay, so they don't hear the Americanized tongue
I don't
in
think
you.
so.
Okay.
But I may speak more. I'll start with English. But no, I start with my language, which is Malayalam. I may start with that when I'm back home, but end up in English.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but when we came to this country, my daughter and she was 4.5, and my son was nearing almost 10. So, when they talk to us, they have the Indian accent. When they are with their friends on the phone, they have the American
Isn't that
accent.
funny?
Yeah, the second year. I said, why? Yeah, they are more Americanized, more my daughter than my son.
Yeah.
Son was born in India, in Delhi. Daughter was born in Holland.
And you said Holland.
Yeah.
Now, Holland, do they have dual citizenships or?
You can. She can. She could have become a Dutch citizen, but she didn't go for that.
Oh, okay.
Dutch language is, I have nothing against them, but it is very difficult. It comes from the throat. And my son started in a Dutch school.
Yeah.
Then we were asked to go to Egypt, and my daughter brought rain to Egypt. Then we were, plane couldn't land because there was rain that day when we had to land, and we were sent to Cyprus.
Okay.
So I always say that she brought rain to Egypt. Egypt is a beautiful country.
I would like to go. I'd like it to just settle out just a little bit
I
more.
can connect you with people.
Yeah. Because, I think, I went to Morocco.
Yes.
And that was fabulous. Oh my goodness. I love that part of the world, whether it is, the Northern Africa. I would love to get into the Middle East.
It's traveling. So with this group, I would like the high schoolers, at least some of them, they should save money and go and see a different country.
Yes.
Because they will come back with a different attitude to life and studies and everything else. Maybe I should plan one.
You'll see some of the poorest nations, or what we consider poor, are actually the wealthiest. I had gone to Belize, and
we call them the third world countries.
But they're not. I had not seen happier people. Their children were happy, but they weren't wealthy by our standards. But the family unit, they loved each other. The kids played. I liked that the chickens were roaming their
yeah.
But there was they weren't caught up in the rat race. They all had their little farms.
They work
go
together,
travel the world, see it.
Yeah, we have to do that. I would like to, with this high schoolers in Bowie High, because I'm mainly focusing on Bowie High because they are the nearest I have, and my children went there. So
Yes.
My daughter and son, 96 and 2000.
Yes.
96 the son and graduated, and 2000 our daughter graduated. So those children I wanted to, but they had to, it's a lot of money to go different places. They had to start saving, do some work instead of sitting in front of the TV.
Yes.
It's difficult to tell them that, but they have to.
Yeah.
So,
and it depends on what type of vacation do you want. The plane ticket can be spendy, but traveling to some of these countries, your cost per day isn't expensive, really. It's getting there. I mean, if you want to go to Paris and stay in your 5 stars, it's going to be a small fortune. But I think it can be for a young person who is going with a friend. The two of them team up. That way they're together and safe. Go see it. Again, you can stay in.
We have to push them little on that. One of my idea is that one. To get these children interested in going out and seeing, or even just to read about, because they had a program on Monday in Annapolis about Mozambique. That country's name I heard when I was in school, now my grandchildren, they want to know about that country. When you
Yeah.
hear a new country, you know, Google. These days you can Google and find out anything.
Yeah, it's at your fingertips. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Children Can Come Closer. Ani, really, it's been a pleasure, and
Thank
I
you.
always appreciate your company. So
Thank
please
you.
come back. And anyway, thank you for joining us today on the Bowie Business Journal. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.